Hey, I'm Olga Bonitas, a watercolor artist and illustrator. In this video, I'll be sharing with you my most significant personal watercolor project. But first, a little backstory. So, for almost a year in 2023, I was living in Almaty city, in Kazakhstan. If you haven't heard, it's this hidden gem in Central Asia with absolutely outstanding nature. The Tanshan Mountains, reaching about 5 kilometers. Just try to imagine it, 5 kilometers high. It's unbelievable. And you can easily hop on a taxi or even a local bus from Almaty city to soak in these stunning views. Amazing. Then, one summer day, I found myself on the tippy top of a trail looking at this breathtaking view and thinking, well, I just gotta paint this. Not just make quick sketches in my art book, I do it constantly, but paint on a large size paper. And that's where my watercolor series began. From the top of mountain, I saw rain pouring down on the city. It looked like watercolor flowing on wet paper. I tried to capture this moment in my artwork. That day we got wet to the skin. It was truly unforgettable. Okay, the next piece of this series is about greenery and snow. In the mountains, two things strike me the most. Firstly, the vertical seasonality. You can see all the seasons of the year at a glance. Juicy greenery looks spectacular on snow peaks background. And secondly, how tiny a person appears in front of the mountains. The most challenging part of this work was the painting of snowy mountains. And I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out. Another piece is also about spring. It's early arrival, when the sun is warm and gentle and the one side of the mountain is already free from snow, with the very first greenery and flowers appearing, while the another side is still under the blanket of snow. And this one is about summer. It was important for me to convey this intense feeling of a hot summer day. Summer season in Almaty, in Central Asia, is obviously hot, and the only way to escape the exhausting heat is to go to the mountains. There, in the shade of the trees of gorge, it's always cool and fresh. Here, the girl stands at the edge of the gorge, a river flowing below and a refreshing breeze blowing. How often, standing on the very edge, do we appear calm and happy for others? It's a precise metaphor of my life in 2023. Be happy even if you can stumble at any moment. And now just imagine, it's early summer morning. You wake up to singing of birds, unzip your tent and find yourself unable to move because of the stunning sunlight and the aroma of flowers. Such a precious moment in life. This picture is about rainfall in the big city heated under the sun, when every person opens their window and enjoys the fresh smell, breath and sounds of the rain. Actually, it was my window view. I enjoy it every single day from my bedroom window. And this is also a typical Almaty view. Everyone there knows this tower and is able to easily recognize it from many. Kazakh people have a very rich culture and carefully preserve their traditions. In the picture, there is a beautiful Kazakh girl dancing in the meadow. Actually, it was me in the meadow, feeling myself as a part of the field of herbs, trying to move like the herbs in the wind. It looks a little weird now. However, I depicted the girl in a beautiful traditional dress to express my respect for Kazakh culture. Well, this picture is a bit complicated to explain. I painted it in 2022 while I was at my home in St. Petersburg, Russia, technically before I came to Kazakhstan. But one day, when almost all the works in this series were done, I realized that this picture belongs to it. I painted it during a tough time as a desperate attempt to visualize the arrival of better times. And it did happen, although I only realized it later when I was in Kazakhstan. Remember, while describing the very first picture in this video, I mentioned the scene on the top of mountain where actually my husband and I stood and looked at rain clouds. So that was exactly like I depicted in this picture. Such a fantastic story. That's why when I was finally granted by a global talent to UK visa and we were preparing for our move to London, I felt the need to paint one more watercolor. There is no darkness anymore, just a clear blue sky. It was autumn season, so it is in the picture too. So this series begins here in the summertime and ends here in autumn. The incredibly beautiful nature inspired me to create and was so good for my mental health. Thank you, Kazakhstan, and all the kind people we met on our way. That places are absolutely worth a visit, and I hope to come back sometimes. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the artworks and the stories behind them, give it thumbs up and subscribe for more. Your support means the world for me. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Stay awesome and see you in the next video.